Guidance and Rituals from 36 Bewitching Botanicals by Maya Toll, illustrated by Kate O'Hara. Now, if you have seen the book haul that I did recently, you know that this is a book that I've been wanting to get for quite a while now. Because while it has really beautiful illustrations and interesting rituals, for all sorts of different plants. For all sorts of different plants. All sorts of different plants. For all sorts of different plants. For all sorts of different plants. It also has, at the back, a collection of cards. Now, I have some of these sort of separated, but not really, so let's separate the rest of them now. Gina McGarry for teaching me to listen for them. Now, this book was published in 2018, so fairly recently. Now, there is a preface and an introduction, but I'm going to skip over these for today and dive straight into the Herbiary. Chickweed. Start fresh. Chickweed. Also known as Stellaria media, chickweed sings of bright beginnings, welcoming to your path. Her tiny star-like flowers whisper, "It's time. Not sure you're ready? No worries." Gently she'll break cells open, renewing energy and life. Chickweed reminds you wherever you are is a fine place to begin. She'll joyously demonstrate by tumbling from any possible place for new growth, from neglected farmstead flower pots to abandoned urban planters. She chips away at old ideas on a foundational level, opening your internal windows to let in fresh thoughts, sloughing off what no longer serves. What's keeping you from making the changes you crave? Perhaps you've been hauling around slowly, accredited insecurities or anger's quicksilver flame. See who you are without burdens, she suggests, smiling as she guides you to begin. Ritual. Notice the micro-world. Broaden your field of attention to include the tiny cotyledons pushing up in early spring. Broaden your field of vision to include the tiny cotyledons pushing up in early spring and the flecks of mica decorating the face of a boulder. Reflection. Look for the little stars. It's easy to figure out the best way to move forward when life gives you big, flashy signposts, but it can be harder when the path seems mundane, mapped by only the smallest of lights. Chickweed reminds you to look for those little lights. Our Latin name, Stellaria, means little star. Be yourself, Daisy. say on the little cards what page you can find this on, which is really neat. I didn't realize that before. Daisy comes from a huge family. Her sisters Chamomile, Echinacea, Boneset, Acamban, Feverfew, and Milk Thistle, to name a few, are among our greatest healers. Luckily, Daisy learned early that the best way to distinguish herself was simply to be herself. So despite her tomboy appearance, with white petals often tatty or rumpled, and her status as the most common of medicines, she'll heal a bruise and quiet inflammation. But nothing like her cousin, Arnica Montana. She's a favorite guest. She persistently finds her way up into our homes and gardens to remind us over and over again that loving ourselves as we are is the best medicine. It says to be kind to yourself. If you're prone to perfectionism or wanting to be in some way special, it's hard to realize that you're already wonderful just the way you are. Daisy can help. This is her specialty. Find a photo of yourself from when you were young. Why use a photo of yourself as a kid? Because it's human nature to have greater empathy for children than for adults. Use this evolutionary idiosyncrasy to your advantage as you work to develop empathy for yourself. After you've chosen a cute photo of kid you decorated with daisies, you can cut out photos of daisies and collage them onto the photo, or use a marker and hand draw them. Get creative, because this photo is becoming a shrine to you. Move onward to your truth. Do you compare yourself to those around you, questioning your looks, intelligence, ambition, or wealth? When you're in competition with others, you're moving away from your truth and towards some artificial version of success. If no one were looking, who would you be? Get specific. How would you wear your hair? What would you eat? Where would you sleep? Dive deep into Daisy medicine and unearth your true self. Next is red clover. Center and ground. This commonly cultivated forage crop feeds horses, cows, sheep, goats, and just about anything else humans keep at pasture. She plants your feet on the ground, 2 or 4, it doesn't matter to her, while encouraging you to run a few miles, or dive into that art project you've been avoiding. Red clover wants you to get moving in body and in spirit. She loves grounded action and will happily bolster your courage when you're acting from a strong center, so you can step out and move forward, bold but not rash. Red clover gets your blood up so you can show up fully. Grounded energy and flow might seem like an oxymoron, but this exercise will help you feel those two forces working hand in hand. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart, your arms held loosely at your side, and your gaze focused gently forward. Imagine a string lifting you up from the top of your head, and 2 more pulling your feet forward towards the center of the earth. This is yoga's mountain pose, which will teach you the vitality of stillness. Counter reactivity. Review your past week.
Honestly, let's just go through and just go through here. And then we'll just keep turning the pages. Fuck it.
Sweet Violet. Inner Sanctum, Sweet Violet. Sweet, sweet Violet sings of the sun in springtime, carpeting meadows and lawns with lush purple petals. But this glorious show is a mere flirtation. Her true abundance comes in autumn, when quietly and with little fanfare she shares her seed with the earth, setting the stage for next spring's performance. Violet has no trouble separating public from private. She knows both have their place and season. She is the gossip column socialite who quietly works in a soup kitchen on Wednesdays, knowing life's most important work isn't always done in the public eye. In Victorian houses, rooms were divided between those that were public and those that were wholly private and only used by family. In modern times, the distinctions between public and private have broken down, leading us to sometimes overshare or overexpose ourselves. Violet whispers each of us has a sacred heart that needs nurturing and protection. This sacred inner sanctum is like a nursery for our deepest, most authentic self. It's here that new truths are born, and when allowed, grow strong before being armored in rationality and sent out into the world. Honor the truths being born within you. Create an altar to your inner sanctum, or honor it with words, or breath, or song. Make a promise to hold space within to grow into your truest self. Forbidden fruit, apple. Apple has been given grief since in the beginning, when she learned that feeding people and teaching them to know themselves can be a dangerous thing. She became associated with snakes, shame, and fig leaves, and it's been all dance lessons, curtsies, and domestication from there. Apple is the witch of the wild wood, forced to clean up and come in for tea. But his Kurt and Pumps can't hide her knowledge of the circling stars and cycling seasons, the deep loam of the earth, and the warm weep of a summer rain. We may think that we've tamed Wild Apple and brought her to heel, but even quasi-domesticated, she still gifts us with the sweetness of understanding ourselves. Apple asks, "What have you forbidden yourself?" Okay. what's going on in here, but I think it's interesting that it relies upon the trope of the apple being the forbidden fruit when forbidden fruit was never really specified, but okay. Hidden desires. We try to tame things that scare us. Self-knowledge is no different. We hide our deep wisdom, our intuition, our needs and desires under a layer of enculturation, refusing to acknowledge what we consider inappropriate or grandiose. These hidden knowings and longings are snakes in the garden. The susurrus of knowledge trying to wake us up. Do you stifle your body when it wants to move in certain ways? Do you choke back your voice when it wants to chant or sing? Do you eat what you're supposed to instead of what your body craves? Do you listen to the quiet voice of your intuition? Here is Clear the Way, White Sage. Clear the way, White Sage. Life can be sticky. Members of the sage clan have been used in a multitude of cultures for clearing the invisible wisps of energy that cling barnacle-like to people and places. Whether you think of those energies as your own spent emotions, or the leftover emanations of someone else's, sage can help you make your peace and move on. Sage is sacred because it clears the way, creating a blank canvas and an open path, allowing you the opportunity to reach your full potential. Sage's appearance tells you that a block needs to be cleared, whether you can name it or not, so you can move forward. By the smoke is the ritual. You can use smoke from plants like sage, cedar, or sweetgrass as a blessing or way of clearing negative energies. This does for your energy field what the reset button does for your computer. Reflection, letting go. Modern psychology teaches us that we need to understand our emotions before we can release them. In contrast, traditional healing and shamanic practices often release without conscious cognitive awareness. When you smoke bathe, you're taking advantage of the latter, letting the smoke lift away whatever isn't serving your path in life. Check in with yourself. Are you willing to release anything without analyzing? Prunella, my teacher used to murmur to this tiny flower with fuzzy leaves and a snapdragon face. Prunella, or self-heal, is a wee thing, small in the way of butterflies whose flapping wings can stir a hurricane half a world away. Like a pebble dropped in a pond, self-heal ripples outward, allowing healing to begin. She reminds you that one properly placed shift, no matter how small, creates concentric circles of effect, each amplifying change. Self-heal knows how to find this center from which all else flows. Ripple out from here, she whispers, as she helps you discover the secret of your own true healing. If self-heal appears for you, it's time to drop your pebble in the pool. Centering. Self-heal reminds you to come to your center because from that place, a small change can make a significant difference. vibrating from your core. Sometimes you get so stuck in your head you forget you have a core at all. Let's remedy that. Find a comfortable place to sit. Take a few deep breaths with each inhalation. Coax your breath lower until you can feel it, landing deep down in your lower lungs. Now imagine each breath is a small pebble of light dropping down into your middle. No one drop is particularly large, but drop by drop they accumulate until your core is filled with light. Allow the light to ripple outward through your body in a concentric circle, carrying self-heal's gentle changes. What energy do you radiate? Each of us is a pebble dropped into the bond of our family, friends, community, and world. Looking beyond your everyday work in the world, ask yourself, what ripples emanate from the pebble that is you? What energy would you like to radiate? Still yourself. Time. Mythology teaches us that a minotaur haunts the labyrinth of your psyche. As you walk towards your center, this monster prowls and roars, trying to scare you off your path by revealing your fears and inadequacies. But you're never truly alone. You have allies like time, her scent purifying your thoughts, so you can see what's true. Time kills off what's other, whether that's germs and microbes or thoughts and feelings. This is Time's special magic. She calls your inner flame to burn the dross, distilling your spirit. Intuitively, she knows you from not you, and she sees you clearly when you cannot. Time is a powerful plant. Do not call on her unless you're truly ready to be tempered in her flame. Understand your journey. The labyrinth is an ancient construct meant to mirror our path through life, the twisting and turnings, the feeling of being so close to our goal, only to be guided away. Unlike a maze, a labyrinth has no dead ends or wrong turns. Walking it eases the mind and relaxes the body. Always follow the path all the way to center, then follow the same path back out. Move at your own pace, pause where you want to, especially in the center, and layer in any meditative practices that speak to your soul. Returning to your path. Have you seen your true path and turned away, or have you stepped onto the path only to become unsure or distracted? Time is calling you back. If you accept, if you whisper yes in the wee hours of the morning, you'll find time both demanding and true. Dandelion is bold, bright and sunny. She pushes through cracks in the cement and worms her way into the mortar of stone walls, cheerfully. Dandelion's medicine is perseverance, but not the perseverance of the martyr. Instead, Dandelion is the eternal optimist, like the fool in the tarot deck. She's always happy to set off on a new adventure in hopes of learning more and digging deeper landscape that has little to do with where you are and where you're planted. When you're ready to make your own joy, whatever life throws at you, call on Dandelion. Visit with Dandelion. Most plants need very specific climates to thrive, but Dandelion adapts to a wide range of environments, which means no matter where you are and no matter what season you're in, you're likely to find Dandelion hanging around. If you're feeling the pull of Dandelion medicine, head out for a walk and see if you can spot this garden weed in the wild, urban or rural, it doesn't matter. Learning to adapt. Dandelion does this amazing thing. She grows on a lawn that's mowed regularly. She stays short, so her flowers pass under the mower's blades. How can you, like Dandelion, adapt to the world around you? What little change can you make that will allow you to thrive in your current situation? Okay. So that's Dandelion. Next. Tap your resources, Burdock. You know the burrs that get matted into your dog's coat in autumn? The ones that break your fingers and refuse to come untangled? That's Burdock. She's a tireless companion, and yes, she sticks with you, cheering you on when you're running low on steam or self-esteem, or recovering from a lingering ailment. Burdock's a nurturer, building you up with gentle sweetness and asking nothing in return. Her taproot runs deep. Once she sets her sights on breaking up crusty soil or shifting old habits, she's persistently relentless. She's the friend of your childhood, the one you can always count on to have your back. Trust me, she says, all will be well. Reconnect with your inner flame. Burdock helps you find strength when you think you have none, warming you from the inside and nourishing deeply. In this way, she's a hearth fire. She offers gentle heat, warm light, and promise of a home-cooked meal. To reconnect with your inner flame, your own sustenance, start by lighting a candle. Stare into the flame and imagine a small spark lighting deep into your core. See it mirrored within as a glowing ember. Breathe gently, letting your inner flame grow with each inhalation and shrink to an ember with each exhalation. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. After you have this visualization, add a sense of warmth. Practice for 1 minute at the start and work up to 10 minutes of practice. Each breath is nourishing you deep within. Reflection, find your earth fire. We're not always kind to those who love us best and nurture us deeply. It's easy to neglect accidentally or cruelly the friend or loved one who always is present and never demanding. Who do you count on when you're feeling burned out and your soul is malnourished? This person is your hearth fire. Once a year, the ancient guilds would extinguish their individual hearth fires and relight them from a communal flame. Does your hearth fire need to be tended or relit? Crack open rose. Yes, that Rose sighs as she contemplates Rainer Maria Rilke's take on relationships. Rose adores poetry, but despite popular belief, she simply can't countenance mushy love. Rose knows that to experience love in full, you need to be a strong vessel, while at the same time cracking open. A contradiction. No more a contradiction than flowers and thorns, murmurs Rose. Rose reminds you to embrace dualities and say both and instead of either or. Wear your thorns. Like Rose, we have been cultivated for beauty. We tend our appearance, choosing clothing colors that complement our complexion, styling our hair and adorning ourselves with jewelry or makeup. And like hybrid roses, we cultivate ourselves. And while we do so, it's easy to become rather thornless. Reflection. See yourself whole. Often we're much better at loving others than we are at loving ourselves. The reason for this, according to Rose, we are too close to ourselves and so are constantly examining our own minutiae. How to break the habit? Look at the big picture. What kind of friend are you? How do you care, nurture, or protect yourself? Create space. Raspberry. Raspberry is Rose's younger sister, sweet and wild but also steady-handed. She loves the earth and its smallest creatures. So her ebullient branches twist and crawl, creating nests for birds and sanctuaries for snails. She'll rock wee babes and scurry about with toddlers, rarely giving in to the gravitas that permeates most members of her family. Laughter floats through her leaves as she flexes and twists. You too can be like this, she says, demonstrating playability earned by drinking deeply of mineral-rich soil. Sit with her and she'll share with you the secret of weaving space and creating strong containers for the emptiness that new life needs in order to thrive. When Raspberry appears, look how you are or aren't nurturing space within. Make space without. Nurturing space within yourself often begins with a physical space and a structured experience of it. The structured space allows us to enjoy a regular interval of reflection and holding space for new energy and ideas. Your structured space needn't be large or expensive to create. It simply needs to be yours. What might this look like? Reflection. Hold space within. We don't often make space for ourselves within our daily lives or create a structure that lets us grow and fully express our dreams before creating in the world. Raspberry teaches us we must learn to hold space within. Home. Hawthorne. Hawthorne remembers a time when local gods watched over knolls and wells, frolicking and making mischief with her branches. She remembers her limbs hung with strands of beads, glittering in the sun, and scraps of fabric fluttering in the wind like prayer flags, offerings to the land itself, and to the gods who kept alive the vital conduit between spirit and matter. Those days are mostly past, but Hawthorne holds the portals open, knowing these interconnections provide true nourishment to keep the heart whole. If Hawthorne appears to you, strengthen your heart and guard it from homesickness by tending to the connections between the the spirit realms and material world. Anchoring the land. Many landscapes around the globe lost their genius loci, spirit of place, when natural landmarks were removed to make way for roads, buildings, and other human endeavors. You can reanimate the genus loci within the landscape you call home with a simple visualization. Do it as often as you feel called. Begin by either walking or imagining the boundaries of your space. Whether you define it as your land or your neighborhood or your house or the contours of your fifth floor apartment, when you have a clear idea of the breadth of space you're anchoring, identify the umbilicus, the physical and energetic center of that space. From this spot, imagine a golden core dropping onto the earth, sinking until it roots itself in the molten core at the earth's center. Feel the vibrancy, the aliveness of this connection. Next, send a silver cord from the same central point up to the heavens, allowing the energies of moonlight and starshine to infuse your space with light and peace. Your space is now anchored to earth and sky, a part of the larger whole. Connecting to home. In times past, you wouldn't have wandered terribly far from the place you were born and raised. The world is different now. You have the glorious opportunity to call many places home, and yet your heart sometimes longs for a landscape vastly different from the one in which you find yourself. If the answer to the following question is no, use the ritual on the facing page to connect. Are you connected to the place where you live? Can your heart call it home? Plantain. If you let her, Plantain will share stories of wagon trains, and ocean crossings, and Alexander's shenanigans in Egypt. Given a chance, she'll make a traveler of you too, drawing you gently out of your comfort zone, moving you from safe to the edge of the wild, pushing the boundaries of civilized behavior and laughing at your scruples. It will start with a small thing. Plantain might offer a leaf to ease a sting, or the itch of poison ivy. Just chew it and spit on the bite she'll encourage. Great Aunt Hilda would have a heart attack, you think, while your inner wild child smiles gleefully at this baby step away from the civilized. Remember the basics. Remember when you were a kid and you'd lie on the ground, letting the grass tickle your back and the sun warm your face. Remember when rolling log-like down a hill was the perfect afternoon activity. Plantain doesn't ask you to step away from your true self and into some unknown version of you. She asks instead that you dust off the unruly and slightly wild but deeply connected side of yourself that gets pushed into the background when you're busy being an adult. She reminds you of your childlike wonder and joy in the basics. Reflection. Drawing out. Plantain's special magic is pulling out what's stuck. She'll draw out feelings much in the same way that she removes splinters and insect stings. If you were to sit down with Plantain and let her cradle your soul, what would happen? What shards would she pluck from your heart? What poison would she draw from your spirit? What pain or discomfort would she dig out from your body? Rigidity. Valerian. Valerian stands tall in the garden, her stem stiff to compensate for a hollow core. But don't let her upright stance fool you. Valerian dreams of being a cat in her efforts to become more mammalian. She's evolved an animal-like oil that acts as a perfume to those with feline proclivities. smelling like sweaty gym socks to the rest of us. Why a cat, you ask? Valerian's been watching felines and has come to the gleeful conclusion that cats are rather shameless and more content because of it. She asks you to aspire to a life free of self-flagellation and daily denigrations. Valerian begs of you to relax your armored body, your stiff thoughts, your rigid emotions, and join her for a shameless afternoon nap. Rest. Valerian wants only one thing from you, an afternoon nap, especially if you have the idea that naps are lazy, languorous, or too luxurious for you to indulge in. Find a sunny spot and curl up for 10 to 20 minutes, which is the ideal length of time for napping because it allows your body to deeply relax without your mind dropping into REM sleep. Reflection, exploring shame. Shame is the feeling when you behave in a way that's antithetical to your ideals. We've all experienced big shames, necessary learning moments that allow us to fine-tune our moral compass. But when we allow our thinking to become overly rigid or self-righteous, we create a million corrosive, small shames. Think about when you last felt ashamed. What ideal did you not quite live up to? Looking back, was your shame attached to unnecessarily rigid thinking? Is there a way to be kinder while still being true to yourself? Resurrection. California poppy. Sometimes the day needs to disappear so you can sink into the lush blackness of night. Sometimes your eyes, whether open or shut, need inky darkness. A forgetting golden poppy lives in both sun and shadow. She opens her petals in daylight and closes them when night comes, giving in easily, knowing resurrection will come with the dawn. It's okay to sleep without dreaming, poppy soothes. To fall deep and far. Have no fear, day will come, and you'll once again stretch and unfurl. True dark. When was the last time you let yourself go? Released your day-walking personality and slipped fully into the night. Forgot the rules of being yourself. We no longer know the true dark. Lights and electronics glow through the night, and stars are obscured. Still, with a little effort, we can get a good approximation of darkness. Reflection. Meeting your nighttime self. As you let go of artificial light and step into true dark, observe yourself. Do your thoughts change when you're in true dark? Are your movements different? Do you find yourself wanting to be more truthful or less? In the space between deep rest and waking. She's the daughter of moonlight and protector of those who travel the dream time. Mugwort curls around your mind, whispering your dreams into words and images that you can clutch as you climb levels of consciousness and return your waking self, while Mugwort's conscious vigil makes her a bit waspish and bitter. She knows the many layered worlds that can guide you through the serpentine paths of the collective unconscious. Call on her to guide you through dreams or journey work. If Mugwort appears to you, she's calling you to dip into these subtler realms. Remembering dreams. Before sleep, sit on the edge of your bed. Plant your feet on the ground, anchoring into the earth. Stretch tall and imagine starlight reaching for your crown. Set the intention to remember your dreams. assist you. If you're able, slip a fresh sprig or some dried mugwort in a pouch or wrapped in a cloth or tissue into your pillowcase. Put a journal by your bed open to a fresh page. If you wake in the night, jot down the first thing, anything you remember, without turning on a light. Your handwriting will be messy, but you'll lose the dream more quickly if you leave the darkness. In the morning before you're fully awake, lie in bed with your eyes closed and pull your dreams into your conscious mind. Reach for your journal and write them down in the present tense as though you are currently happening. To have them, it may take a few days of having the journal by your bed to encourage your subconscious to carry your dreams to the surface. Be patient with yourself. Differentiating dreamscapes. Dreams have different textures which indicate to the initiated whether a dream is as simple emptying of the unconscious mind or passage into a different state of consciousness. Think back on your dreaming life. Can you remember dreams that felt different from your usual dreams? Cyclicity. Elderberry. Elderberry traditionally lives at the center of the garden, telling stories of winters past and springs yet to come. Though often scraggly and a questionable centerpiece, her three faces embody the goddess, maiden in the spring, abundant with white petals, mother in the summer, when wine-red berries adorn her branches, and crone in the autumn, when her leaves are falling away. She looks quite deadly in winter. All bare branches and hollow bones, elderberry's yearly evolution teaches you to dance with the closely twined cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Wherever you are in your life, she reminds you that acceptance of life cyclicity is the key to earning your spot in the garden's center. Wisdom of return. In the modern world, time can feel quite linear. We march from birth to death, forgetful of the ancient wisdom of return, living cyclically with an awareness of the cycles that form the foundation of our existence can change our perspective in profound ways. Reflection, the upward climbing spiral. Our evolution is an upward climbing spiral. We repeat lessons, gaining wisdom as we go. But if we hop from thing to thing, never repeating, declaring things done after one go-round, we deny ourselves this growth, this ability to evolve into the goddess at the center of the garden. Do you take the time to dive deep, allowing cycles of repetition to enhance your understanding? Fortitude. Lady's mantle. Lady's mantle will be there when you're ready to wrap a blanket around your shoulders and call her in her protection and enter the dark forest. She whispers, you can make it through this lifetime. Your soul is whole, and no matter what pains or abuse the physical world throws at you, you have the integrity of spirit. She's particularly wise in cases of trauma, murmuring the names of the roads that will carry you throughout and out of those dark woods. Lady's mantle doesn't demand, she waits, knowing you'll find both bravery and fortitude within. She never loses faith in your strength, and with her help, neither will you. And then, to begin your fortitude, play the and then game by taking an imaginary journey through your own worst fears. I have to pause and reassure you that the imagining of scary things does not call them into being, while your thoughts do shape your reality. It's because this thought directs action, not because mere thinking shifts the foundations of the universe. worst nightmares. On the other hand, you'll see that you have the skills and fortitude you need to make it this journey. Ready? What's your biggest fear? Is the loved one will die, or you'll lose your house or job. Imagine that thing, whatever it is, and then ask yourself, and then keep repeating, and then, as you unpack your fears and unspool possible futures, the game isn't over until you're out of the woods, and your answers no longer terrify you. Reflection, face your shadow. When we avoid our own shadows, it's often because we feel the lack of the strength to face them. We believe that we will overpower our light, or that our life will change irrevocably. And we doubt we have the fortitude to deal with that. Lady's Mantle knows this isn't true. She knows unexplored dark spaces can become black holes sucking at our happiness. Her faith in our strength is absolute. Do you doubt your ability to visit the dark forest and come out stronger and more whole? Finding grace. Starflower. Some call this plant by her more common name, borage, but she prefers starflower and wouldn't you? Her blue star-shaped petals among the garden's more usual yellows and pinks, shimmering yet understated, like an old-time movie starlet. Starflower shares a timeless philosophy with these legends of the silver screen. Grace isn't something you keep for yourself, she tells us. Grace, Starflower knows, is a gift you give over and over again to the world around you. If you're thoughtful and caring and true, grace develops a patina over time, becoming wisdom, cradling those lucky enough to be in your presence. How can you let a little more grace into your life? When Starflower graces our garden, it seems she's always there. But she's not a perennial. Each year she lets herself go to seed, so she can return that year that follows. Like Starflower, we all need time to go fallow. Time when we're nothing but seeds of potential, lying dormant in the earth. When nothing is expected from us, and we have no task but simply being. Reflection. Shine in the sharing. We all have gifts, whether yours is being able to connect people with exactly whom they need to know, baking the first perfect creme brulee, or understanding the tax code. These gifts are meant to be shared. You shine in the sharing. If you find yourself trivializing or unable to appreciate your unique gifts, look to Starflower and find the gentle courage to shine. Are you gracing the world with your special skills? Tough love. Lavender. People think lavender is soft, useful for shaping quiet space and calming rowdy children. But beneath her powdery scent is a hint of menthol. Smell it, that bite at the back of your palate. While lavender appears to be down to earth and gracious grandmother who will soothe your soul and sing you to sleep. You're living in a rare, blessed life, if that's all you ever need from her. If circumstances should change, call on Lavender. She handles emergencies with military precision, keeping a cool head and a stout heart. She'd make a fine spy, field nurse, or leader of the resistance, cloaking her steely strength under a sloppy gray bun and the familiar scent of summer. When Lavender appears, it's time to ground yourself and dig into the task at hand. Foot bathing. Foot baths are more than a mere luxury. They open the blood vessels, helping to keep things flowing both literally and metaphorically. Treat yourself to a warm foot bath with some lavender flowers or a bit of lavender essential oil. Reflection. Do you cool or inflame? How do you handle the ups and downs of daily life? Are you cool-headed and empathetic? emotions rise up, keeping you from helping yourself and others? Do you step in or walk away? Lavender approaches every emergency with the same question. What can I do to create calm in every level? Mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. How can you bring this lavender lesson into your life? What needs mending? Comfrey. Comfrey plums to mend skin, bones, soil. There's so much to do. She dives deep, magicking molecules, rebuilding broken chains, restacking cells into tissue and tissue into muscle. This is joyous work for Comfrey, so she tends to work quickly, sometimes too quickly. Her boldness can border on reckless, and her mad scientist exuberance. She can get ahead of herself and forget first steps. Comfrey is a reminder to work systematically, starting with the deepest layers and working your way out. Even creative endeavors need to be built on a solid foundation. If Comfrey appears, ask what needs mending, then pause to assess and plan before diving in. Breaking apart. The flip side of mending is breaking. We're trained to appear strong and often feel guilt or shame when we break, but unmaking is as much a part of the cycle as making, and breaking can be incredibly liberating. If you've swung a sledgehammer during a home renovation project, you know this is true. Find something you can safely smash, hurl, stomp on, or pound, or pummel. Do it. Allow yourself to scream, or at least grunt loudly. Nothing like that in your house. Beat up your bed with a pillow. What you're going for is the moment when your mind stops chattering, and you simply release. Dissolution. It's easier to break something than it is to repair it, and yet there's a rare release in breaking, in dissolution, that we seldom let ourselves feel. Think of the caterpillar that turns its DNA into soup. During its time in the cocoon, so it can emerge again as a butterfly. What if you knew without a doubt that you could break and be remade? What if you could find joy in that breaking? What possibilities might this open up to you? A spoonful of sugar, marshmallow. There's nothing Marshmallow would love more than to spend time in your kitchen. She'll lean over your shoulder, offering suggestions for your adorning, salads and thickening your soups. There's no reason for foul-tasting anything, including medicine, declares the grand dame of dessert. She should know, having been around since 2000 BCE. Egypt, dear, she'll tell you, a lovely place. I've had pharaohs and gods, but Marshmallow's not one to dwell in the past. She takes too much joy in bringing ease to the present, and there's much work to do. Digestion these days, she discs as she sets about creating her latest confection. Call on Marshmallow when you need to soften and rediscover sweetness. Conscious cookery. Any act can be a ritual if done with intention. Marshmallow remembers the days when baking and medicine making weren't as far removed from each other. In honor of her long history in the kitchen, create a dish that's deliciously nourishing as you chop and blend. Focus on how this food will nurture those who eat it. Allow yourself to picture the vibrancy that will come with each delectable bite. Reflection. Soften and smooth. Marshmallow's magic is to soften and smooth when the edges of life are too much, when you feel raw and scraped. Picture marshmallow growing in the most moist soil of a wetland, water eddying gently, softening hard earth, loosening what's been stuck. What can marshmallow help you soften? what rough edges are rubbing at your spirit. Pocket of protection, Yarrow. In older times, Yarrow traveled with warriors, while their official job was staunching wounds, keeping the insides and the in and the outsides out. Her presence brought bravery to the soldiers who kissed. Today she has much the same task. Yarrow assists you in keeping your boundaries, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. She creates personal pockets of protection so you can slow down, gather your strength, find your courage. Yarrow reminds you that boundaries are not just for keeping the outside from coming in, but also for keeping yourself from leaking out, letting thoughts and emotions run rampant in the world. Yarrow will create a bubble of protection, a bit of sacred space within you can regroup, regenerate, and recreate yourself. Reestablish personal space. In order to ask Yarrow to hold a little space for us, we need to know what space we're asking her to hold. Close your eyes and pretend you're inside a glass bubble. Some people would call this glass bubble your aura. You can think of it that way, or stick with glass bubble if that's more comfortable for your mind. Run your fingers along the inside of your bubble, feeling the edges of your body is energy. Willingly suspend your disbelief and trust your fingers. Is the bubble smooth and whole? Are there areas that feel in need of shoring up? Reflection. Can you say no? Yarrow has enthusiastically adapted in modern times. She helps us all establish personal space and hold boundary lines. Remember, though, that she is a partner, not a guard dog. In order for Yarrow to do her job, you have to learn to say one magic word. No. These two letters can be tough to spit out. If you're concerned about being nice or cooperative, you may find yourself saying yes or maybe when your heart is actually saying no. How does saying no sit with you? Are you able to say no to being overextended and protect the dreamy little bubble Yarrow offers you? Just be. Oats. Shh. 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 Oat murmurs as you run your hands over her tops. Shh. Shh. She says, as the wind picks up, trying to ruffle Oat's ever-present calm. If the breeze continues, she'll gently chide. Shh. But that's all the reaction you'll get, as she rubs shoulders with her sisters, laughing quietly and murmuring that all really is well despite the wind, the radio waves, or the internet has to say. When you slip into stress, Oat smiles gently and runs her fingers through your hair. Stop grappling endlessly with your thoughts, she whispers. Soften to the wind, be open to the sky, and ground yourself in earth to know the truth of this one precious moment. Oat bathing. Get to know Oat a bit more intimately with an Oat scrubby or bath. Oat softens your skin, and she'll do the same for the rough edges of your nerves. Reflection. Going silent. Can you just be? Can you let go of expectations and the need to know? Can you release the quest for answers to your questions or conclusions to your stories? This is Oat medicine. In a way, it's quite like meditation. The floating in a soft space, letting your nerves relax. And it takes practice. Can you gift yourself a minute of this softness? 2:25. See if your mind rebels at the thought of going silent. is scraggly, scrappy, completely lacking the charisma one would expect from an herb reputed to tame depression in a single bound. But that's her beauty. She's a magician and a thief, not the belle of the ball. She knows how to steal the heat from summer solstice's sun, hold it in her flowers, and make it last all winter long. This is her greatest trick, bringing light and warmth in your darkness by helping recreate the electric leap of synapses firing and energy moving along. Call in St. John's wort when you need a sip of sunshine, so you can find your light in the darkness. Sipping sunshine. Like St. John's wort, you can store sunshine. Stand facing the sun, with your eyes closed and your feet planted firmly on the earth. Feel the light coming through your eyelids. Breathe the sunshine in through your nose, and taste it on your tongue. Repeat often, allowing the sun's fire to stroke your inner fires. Reflection, winter medicine. Modern culture demands that we be our same selves day in and out, summer and winter. But our bodies know otherwise. Our bodies remember a time when winter was for staying close to the earth fires. St. John's wort is a solstice plant, blooming near the summer solstice and perfect medicine for the winter. What medicine do you need in the winter months? How do you keep the sun in your spirit when the nights are long? Trillium is a rare jewel brightening the forest floor, quietly watching the darkness. She's not waiting for ghouls or ghosts. She fears nothing in these dim-lit woods. No, Trillium is waiting on the first fleeting sparks of new life. Come, she says, drawing you deeper into the conscious of the trees. Let's see what shall be born. While she's been awaiting births for millennia, Trillium's recently developed her invisibility, quietly blending into leaf mulch and fern patches, the dark places where ideas are incubated, on the edge of the abyss of all nothing. She's ready to ease the transition from spirit to matter. Trillium helps with births. She often sees the first spark when others' eyes still see darkness. Nurture new ideas. Daydreams are like seeds. We have so many, but few take root. How do you breathe life into an idea and create a new way of being in the world? From inception, the new seed needs to be nurtured or it will dry up and wither. So whether you're contemplating a fresh new idea, give it some love. Envision it fully formed and living in the world. Then create a space for it to grow, a blank canvas, a folder on your desktop, or a cleared table with an image representing this glorious thing that is to come. Reflection, seed time. Oftentimes we have to cultivate this dark womb of self to foster the evolution of a new idea or new self-awareness. This growth needs to be nurtured, buried in peat and fallen leaves, and left for sometimes inconceivably long periods before it's ready to be born into the world. Sometimes it requires pinching off of other ideas and choosing the one we will help grow strong. Of the water. White willow. Most people think of willow as graceful and soft, a beautiful tree with weak wood. She's happy to let you have your delusions, but underground she sends her expansive roots questing for water, the element of emotion which feeds her extraordinary flexibility. Willow loves to dunk her feet, sampling the flow of feelings, tasting anger and joy, sorrow sunny windowsill. When you encounter strong emotions, instead of holding on to them, envision sending them to your bowl of water. At the end of the day, offer your water to the earth or a potted plant, asking that your spent feelings be composted to help something new to grow. Notice how you feel in the days when you perform this ritual. Notice how water softens and dilutes your intense feelings and keeps them from overwhelming you. Reflection. What's stagnant? If you find yourself getting yanked hither and yon by the pull of your feelings, call on Willow to remind you of the importance of letting your emotions flow, then go. Emotional waters aren't meant to be stagnant. Still water breeds disease and blood-sucking mosquitoes, and nobody wants that. Call on Willow to remind you to stay open, so that emotions can flow through you with grace. We are one, quaking aspen. Despite the trembling of her leaves, aspen isn't really sacred. How do I know? Because deep underground, all aspens are holding hands. To our eyes, aspen trees are individual, but their roots and hearts are one. This is not mere metaphor. Aspens grow in what are called a clonal colony, sending out underground suckers to find a lovely spot to sprout a sister tree. Aspen groves are among the largest and oldest single organism on the planet. When you see aspen quavering, it's often with laughter. She giggles gently at the human race who seem to have forgotten that deep in our roots, we too are one. Aspen asks us to root into this sense of connection so we can let go of our fears. Join your roots. Aspen always knows she's part of something greater than herself, a sense we humans often lack. Take a few moments to connect with the comforting awareness that everything is connected. Healing the whole. The Cherokee see our obsessive need for individualism as a sickness. In that culture, when a person is ill, healing is considered requisite, not only for the individual, but also for the family and community. How do you balance your individuality with your place in your family and your community? Does your drive to be your unique self leave you more alone than you wish? Integration. Malign appears when she is needed and has trouble staying where she's not. Because of her penchant for moving about over the years, she has learned quite a bit about quite a bit, making her a wise guide on any journey. Malign brings multifaceted understandings into alignment with each other, easily building intellectual bridges between seemingly disparate or disjointed things because her gift is seeing the structure at the whole. She'll sing the relationship of bone to water or air to skin in a way that makes you wonder how you never saw those patterns for yourself. Call on Malign when you need a torch in the darkness or an overview of the whole so you can understand the parts. Think macro. Understanding how things influence each other is key to seeing the deeper patterns at work in the world. In your mind, as a sketch or in a journal, find the threads that connect these seemingly separate things. An acorn and a butterfly, the moon and a ship, your head and your heart. Reflection. Spider medicine. The line is like a spider sitting on her web, feeling the vibrations along the various threads and seeing from the center how it all connects. Imagine all the parts of your life as a giant network with every person, place, and thing connected. Think of yourself as a spider, sitting in the center of a web. Imagine the threads stretching out from where you sit. Bring consciousness to your connection parts of your life that need to be integrated into your whole. Now choose an action you're considering or a decision you're making. Feel out along your web what or who will be affected by your choice. Defying gravity, Reishi. Reishi is the Yoda of the plant world, helping you assimilate life's experiences and turn them into wisdom. The Taoists teach that Reishi can show you where your power lies, which some might call your destiny. Reishi is not some soft, clingy mushroom, but instead a strong, structured, gravity-defying shelf. She asks no less from you. How can you defy anything keeping you from finding meaning, purpose, and health? Like all the best teachers, Reishi points to the path and lets you walk it, taking your lumps and bumps along the way. She doesn't want to rely on her strength. She wants you to find your own. But if you're willing to do the work, Reishi will help you transform from the inside out. Write and burn. To find your path and step into your own power, you need to release whatever is no longer serving your highest good. If your home or workspace is full of stuff, call on Reishi energy to move along what you no longer need. Clutter, whether work or emotional, blocks you from stepping into your true work. If stale thoughts or ways of being need to be released, try this. Write down your thoughts or emotions you want to be rid of. Don't worry about spelling, grammar, or handwriting, just write. When you feel emptied, take the paper and burn it to ash. Releasing the thoughts and feelings that no longer serve. Sprinkle the ashes on the earth or add them to the dirt in a potted plant, where the thoughts and feelings can further be broken down and composed. Step into your superpower. Do you know why your power lies? What gives you the strength and vitality? Oftentimes we think of our superpower as the thing that makes those around us happy or comfortable, but Reishi knows your gift. Your strength is the thing that makes you vital and alive. To be clear, Reishi doesn't care how you make your money. Your destiny may have nothing to do with how you pay your mortgage, but it has everything to do with how you feed your soul. Exuberant quietude. Passion flower. Passion flower is a study of opposites. She climbs vigorously, some say invasively, sending exploring fingers through fence slats and wall crevices. What's over there, she wonders, always trying to get to the other side to expand beyond her current boundaries. Even her flower exudes frenetic energy, vibrantly bursting out into the world. Every inch of passion flower is reaching, striving, and climbing. And yet, her medicine is the magical calm that happens when the television, computer, and phone all suddenly silent. She begs you to pause in your questing and take the time for a new experience, inner quietude. Why? Because being able to be quiet is and still is passion flower's secret to exuberant expansion without stress or burnout. Expansive. Expand yourself, instructs Passion Flower as she reaches around a flower pot on her way to connect to the far corner of the garden. Are you ready to get a body sense of what feels like calm, contained, yet exuberantly expansive? Just do it, Passion Flower says. She's not giving away the ending and ruining your chance to explore yourself. Reflection, life inventory. Passion Flower teaches us the power of balance, doing and not doing, critical thinking and daydreaming, waking and sleeping. Her power is in doing all the things with vigor, giving equal weight and zest in every activity, which is accomplished by keeping our thoughts centered in the present moment. Take a life inventory. Which parts of your life do you feel joyously engaged with? Have you lost your passion for some parts of your daily life? Are you trudging through your work or family time? Pay attention. Nettle. If we do not know the names of the plants around us, we do not acknowledge the individualistic curl of a leaf or grape of a rhizome. They all run together and look like a great wall of greenery. That's when we humans start to generalize, lumping anything without a showy flower into the category of weed. Nettle will have none of this. Pay attention, she admonished. We're all different, all unique. When you acknowledge Nettle's individuality and treat her with thoughtful respect, she'll let you close. But forget yourself, and you won't forget her sting. Nettle reminds you to see your individuality and treat the world around you accordingly. If Nettle is pricking you, pause and pay greater attention. True seeing. Nettle says, see me. And really, isn't that what each of us wants? To be seen and acknowledged. See the people around you as unique individuals. Walk through the world with a presence, acknowledging in your heart your family, the people with whom you work or study, the folks standing in the line with you at the market. In your mind, say 2 unique things about each person you meet. When you slip into your internal world, that place where other people become a bit blurry, consciously pull yourself back to being externally present as you focus outward. Imagine every cell in your body being aware of the details of life around you. Who is unseen? Nettle medicine is both vast and fundamental. She gifts us the building blocks needed not only for the human body, but for healthy soil. Because she's not showy or flashy, she is not often grown in gardens, and her sting pushes her to the outskirts of civilization. But once known, she is beloved. Are there entire groups of people relegated to the outskirts of your consciousness? You are sacred, Tulsi. Tulsi, also called holy basil, is traditionally planted in a special pot by the front door of homes in South Asia. The holiest of plant, thought of alternately as a household deity and a manifestation of the goddess Lakshmi, brings heaven to earth. Her spicy scent reminds you to be aware of the unseen, of spirit flowing in and out. Tulsi says you're strongest when your spirit helps you adapt to the ups and downs of daily life. If you befriend Tulsi, she might bring you a further message. Your spirit flows through your physical form, and so your soul is fed through your body's senses. You might wear Tulsi beads around your neck to remind you that you are the home for your spirit and that you are sacred. Come home to yourself. Tulsi asks you to come home to yourself. We often look externally for the sacred, while treating our own selves, our bodies, our inner knowings, our spirits, like so much flotsam on life's current. Holy Basil knows that coming home to yourself is not something you do once, but a practice to be repeated over and over. Her presence is your reminder. Come home. Reflection. What if you are holy? Tulsi's benediction. What if you are holy just as you are? What if you don't need to be more spiritual, more kind, more anything? What if you acknowledged yourself just the way you already are as a sacred being? How would that thought shift who you are and how you show up in the world? psyche through her easy access to the in-between. She can call in the medicine of plants not present, making her a must in any healer's garden. Ask Vervain to channel her sisters and hold her place in a tea, blend, or incense. But remember, even though she is wispy, Vervain is powerful. A sip of her tea is magical, a cup nauseating. Why? Because too much mystery puts us off balance. Think of it as motion sickness of the soul, so let Vervain dance lightly on the edges of your consciousness, reminding you of the infinite possibilities that unfold when you let magic in. Study the interstitial. Celtic lore says that druids harvested Vervain when neither the sun nor the moon was in the sky. These magical times occur almost daily. We call them dawn and dusk. Vervain's medicine is the medicine of those interstitial times and of liminal places, doorways, crossroads, and the place where the sea foam curls onto the beach. The way to truly understand her is to hone your knowledge of the in-between. When was the last time you truly took in those moments when night slips into day or day into night? Standing at the crossroads, the ancient mystics venerated the in-between and the interstitial as places where possibilities overlap, creating the perfect petri dish for synchronicity and magic. These places are often called crossroads because there, instead of continuing on your current path, you could choose to make a hard turn and explore the unknown. In mythology, crossroads have a guardian, because major life changes often require the death of an old way of being, and humans need guidance or a trial to help them through this rite of passage. If you were standing at a crossroads today, would you be willing to leave behind to take? What would you be willing to leave behind to take a new road? Finally, we have remembrance. Rosemary. Rosemary is the smell of deja vu and afterbreath of nostalgia. Her gift is the faint scent that teases and vanishes, leaving you longing for something you can't quite name, with memories that crest and crash, pulling you grasping onto their undertow. In Victorian times, rosemary was said to say, "Remember me." This is but a small part for magic. Rosemary can ease remembrance, softening sharp edges, or she can dredge the distant past, pulling on your DNA to bring forward long lines of lineage. Crush the leaves, hold on to them, hold them to your nose. The past is encoded into your cellular memory. Rosemary whispers, sink into the knowledge that lives in your bones. Let memory rise up from the body of your being. Honoring ancestral memory. Rosemary's magic lies in her scent, and the volatile oil hidden in her leaves. Science has affirmed that the smell of rosemary's essential oil embraces memory, enhances it. Here's how it works. When you inhale rosemary, her vaporous oils cross through the mucous membranes of your nose and enter your bloodstream. Recall is significantly improved with rosemary flowing in your veins. You can get a good whiff of rosemary by crushing fresh leaves into between your fingers, or by rubbing a drop of rosemary essential oil between your palms. Then hold your hands over your nose and inhale for a few minutes. Notice how you feel. You are made of memories. Rosemary whispers the memories of this lifetime, but she also reminds us of the kitchen of generations past and the scent of camphor mixing with sea air. Our DNA has traveled through millennia. When we think of memory, we focus on the people we ourselves have known. Grandparents, great aunts, cousins, twice removed. Our thoughts tend to be based on our personalities, experiences, likes or dislikes. Rosemary asks us to travel beyond those associations to some. Feel for the memory that lives in the twisting threads of our chromosomes. This is what it means to honor our ancestors and be rooted